On NEWSPROBE today, we're talking about the hungry and the homeless, and they're often one and the same. We're talking with Trevor Ferrell, his father, Frank Ferrell, and Joe Lukens, who is involved with a lobbying group here in Philadelphia called Results. Let me ask you, Joe, at this point, could you tell us what that group does and what you're lobbying for?
Results is a group that was started in California about 4 years ago. And the purpose of Results is for the participants to help create the political will to end hunger. And not just in the United States, throughout the world. And its other purpose is to break through the idea that I, as a citizen, don't make a difference in the legislative process. And basically what Results participants do is write letters to their congressmen, meet their congressmen, write letters to the editor of the newspapers, and generally do whatever they can to generate awareness about the problem of hunger in the world.
Mm-hmm. Is this the group that you're involved in? Is this just at LaSalle? Is this just a college group or no?
This is apart from LaSalle. This group is a non-profit lobbying organization.
So that anybody can become a part of it?
Anyone.
Okay. Now, when we talk about hunger, Joe, people often think about the third world countries. As you mentioned, we think about Ethiopia and the situation that exists there. What we fail to realize is that 22% of the population of Philadelphia lives in poverty. For them, hunger is certainly a way of life. What role do you think the government has played in combating this problem locally? Is anything being done?
Well, there's always campaigns. The Trevor campaign is a wonderful idea. There's a group called Impact on Hunger that did a canned food drive with the Philadelphia 76ers organization in Philadelphia, and throughout the country is doing canned food drives at other various sports events, hockey games, basketball games, baseball games. And the point of those sports things is to generate awareness mainly, and to get canned food for the people that are hungry in those cities. But the main purpose is to make people in this country more aware of the problem. The more aware the people are of the problem, the more that they can do about it. If you want to do something truly, you have to educate people.
And that's why we're here today. That's why we've invited the three of you here today, to educate our friends at home that may have that attitude that you mentioned earlier. I'm one person. I can't do anything about that. And the fact of the matter is, if you add 1 to 1 to 1 to 1, you can see what happens. Now, the campaign, your campaign, Trevor, has been growing since that night way back in '83 when you went downtown and you saw what existed on the streets there. How has the campaign changed since the beginning? What things have developed? What have you learned, and what have you put into action?
Well, we used to serve out of a station wagon, and then we got into another van, a van, and then we were really looking for another one, and all of a sudden 2 of them came, 2 nice vans. And when we got those 2, we decided we have other little chapters popping up all over, not popping up, but forming in Oklahoma City, Cleveland, Ohio, all over. And so what we did was decide to give the first van to the Oklahoma City chapter.
So you're working together. Now, when you talk about the van, exactly what do you do?
Well, we go out in the streets giving out blankets, clothing, and food to the homeless if they need it.
Where do you get the blankets and the clothing?
Clothing, blankets, food. It's all donated. Food's cooked by volunteers that cook.
And who are the people that go into town at night and deliver this?
Just volunteers that want to go in the van. A lot of mainliners that you wouldn't expect that would be in the streets, all fur coats and all, serving the food.
People really fool you when it comes to the heart, don't they?
It is amazing, yeah. People that I've looked at as being stilted, and wouldn't you think venture into a dark alley with rats to show another person that they're thinking about them and caring about them. We were just talking, I heard Joe mention about, and you mentioned about what can one person do.
Right.
And all. Mother Teresa said it so much better than I, that there's so much to be done, and we're constantly criticized with what Trevor's doing and Joe and other groups are doing is just a scratching the surface. Mother Teresa mentions that there is so much to do, and what we do may only be a little drop in an ocean of need, but without that one drop, we'd be missed. And I think that's true. I know that Joe, Trevor, you, and I are missed if we're not involved in helping others. And it's not some great terrific, unsolvable problem. It is a great, terrific problem, but it is solvable. There's no one answer. The government, it isn't solely the government's responsibility. We share that burden, the private sector as well as the government, to take the step, the initiative, and make that first move and reach out to someone.
Well said. We all have to get involved in this. We can't sit back and wait for somebody else to do it. Trevor, let me ask you this. You have become very involved. You go downtown at night in the van. You appear on TV shows all over the place. You have done magazine articles, radio, you name it, you've done it. How does a person your age have time to do all this and still go to school and still have a social life?
I just do whatever my dad says I have to do. He has it all planned
The truth
out.
comes out.
But now they're doing it, so I picked some of the things I can do.
We've limited his activity. Last March, he was in every day of the month, and we were criticized for allowing him to do that. And we were also criticized for pushing this boy, and it was just the opposite. He was pulling us in every night. And so since he failed last year, and he has a learning disability, we said he's got to devote more time to school. He's got to be a normal kid, which he is. He hasn't changed, I can't believe. With all that publicity and attention, he still has his head in the right place, his heart in the right place. And like I said, we've limited his involvement in the campaign. He's still there. He doesn't enjoy doing this kind of stuff. I think, am I right?
I can tell.
He'd rather be with his friends.
You'd rather be out, right?
Yeah.
Doing something else. How about your friends? That's an interesting thought. What do your friends say to you? When you first got involved, I'm sure people maybe were happy that you were doing this and maybe were proud of you.
It's the opposite. First, my friends, they would tease me, except for a few on the street, but the friends at school would tease me. But this year, nobody teases me or anything.
What did they say to you? What were they making fun of?
Like, give me a blanket, things like that. Just,
Comments.
Sarcastic
What
comments.
was your answer to that one? That was really-
meet you out and they ate them all, nothing. I'll give you.
Right. I bet that shut them up pretty quickly.
Well, a few of them stopped after that. But
do people think that you were trying to be some kind of hero, some kind of show-off, try to get all this attention and bring all this attention to your family and look how great I am? People think that about you?
they don't think I have a big head, I don't think. None of my friends say, yeah, you have a big head. They don't mention it. They don't, and they like what I do. They want to come in, but they really don't, they know I don't like talking about it in school. Like, not because I want to keep it a secret, just because when I'm in school, I like to just be in school.
Be in school and deal with this after school.
Yeah.
Have you been able to get some of your friends or your classmates involved in the campaign with you?
Well, one of the kids in my school has gone in. He's Randy Grayboyce. He's gone in once, and he just asked me the other day, in fact, if he wants to.
If he could go. So that you are making an inroad in the schools, too. Do you want to make a comment?
Yeah, there are kids that we'll never really meet in person all around the country, around the world. We've heard from Australia, Canada, Switzerland, India. New Delhi, India sent a reporter over. And kids are seeing, when they see interviews of Trevor and his dad, they see it's obvious he's not a polished speaker, and he's just an average guy.
With a real
he makes
big heart.
mistakes too, and
With a real big heart.
And they say, well, gee, if this guy can do it, this little squirt, maybe I can do something.
Right? I mean, you know, every time the minute hand on the clock sweeps 60 seconds, 28 people die from hunger-related causes. We need to address it. Stay with us.